What's up, sports bettors? I've already given out a ton of good player props for this weekend on Underdog Fantasy. Lamar Jackson, last pick to win 3K, which I gave out on my live stream. I know a lot of people got in on that. So what we're going to be going through is 5 more picks. And what's so crazy about sports betting, sharp sports betting, is on DraftKings, this 5-pick parlay would come out to plus 1143 odds. You're betting 100 to win 1243. We're going to be getting this bad boy for plus 2,000 on Underdog Fantasy. So let's go ahead. Let's go through it. Saquon Barkley, over 3.5 receptions. This one I skipped over, but this is an incredible betting opportunity. Again, if you want to browse odds for any sport, it's completely free on OddsJam, right? Whatever sport you want to look at, NBA, soccer, World Cup, whatever, who cares? You can browse odds, right? And as a sharp bettor, this is everything, right? You need to make sure you are finding value in the odds, right? So you can see right here, like Saquon, over 3.5 receptions, we're getting pretty good value on Underdog at minus 122. So we've kind of gone through this before, but on Underdog Fantasy in a 3-pick entry, you're getting minus 122 implied odds. Same thing with a 5-pick entry. So what you'll notice is all of my, kind of entries on Underdog that we've gone through, they're always 3-pick and 5-pick because they have the most advantageous odds, right? We've gone through kind of the math, the strategy behind Underdog Fantasy a bunch of times. So I don't want to dwell on the math, but essentially when you're playing on Underdog Fantasy, you should assume any pick you take in a 3-pick entry or a 5-pick entry, you like it at minus 122 odds. Anything you're playing in a 2-pick entry, you should assume you're getting minus 137. So Saquon, we're taking him over 3.5 receptions, or I already took him. I already hit the cap on Saquon Barkley. So unfortunately, I couldn't even bet him again. But if you're to take Saquon in a 5-pick entry, you should assume, you're getting minus 122, which clearly is very good value, right? All the sports books have his overjuiced, pretty heavily. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, is pricing Saquon over 3.5 receptions at minus 177. So kind of as a sharp bettor, as a profitable bettor, you're always looking for value, right? It's critical to line shop. It's completely free on OddsJam. When I was a quant on Wall Street, all we cared about was data, right? All you care about is real-time market data. And what's so crazy about sports betting is all of these bookmakers, they try to set lines independently, right? The lines on Pinnacle are not the same as the lines on FanDuel, are not the same as the lines on DraftKings and BetOnline. So you can essentially treat every sports book, kind of as an independent data point of all the action they're seeing in the market, where should the line be set, and ruthlessly search for value, right? And that's how you make money betting on sports long term. So what this EV tool does for you is it just kind of like, if we put an Underdog, all it will do is kind of scan all the market and point out for you the biggest line discrepancies on Underdog Fantasy. And you can add prize picks, you can put in whatever you want. But obviously a lot of value on Saquon over 3.5 receptions. So second pick I have, which we've already gone through in previous videos, it's in a couple plays, is Thielen under 4.5 receptions. So, actually, we skipped this one because I already hit the max on Saquon. So this is technically the first pick we have. Adam Thielen, under 4.5 receptions. Minus 122 on Underdog. Every sportsbook has this juiced, the under heavily favored. Sportsbooks, they imply win probabilities through their odds. So when Pinnacle, kind of the sharpest bookmaker out there, when they're pricing the under at minus 154, that means they think the under is a lot more likely to hit, right? So you can kind of quantify that with the no-vig odds calculator, which is a super useful tool. I highly recommend kind of reading through this text a bunch of times as much as you can. All this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's market and removes the vig, removes the juice to kind of tell you the true win probability for your bet, as well as the no-vig line according to Pinnacle or any market, right? So Pinnacle, their market, based on the fact that they have the under at minus 154 and the over at plus 115, they think Thielen under 4.5 receptions is 56.6% to hit, right? If you take DraftKings, DraftKings has the under even more juiced than Pinnacle, so they're even more bullish on the under hitting. So they think the under is more likely. They had this plus 125, minus 165. They think the under is 58.4% to hit. So kind of you can put every sportsbook's market into this no vig odds calculator to try to get a sense of, okay, what does DraftKings think the true line for Thielen under 4.5 receptions is? And with no juice, it would be minus 140. So this column, the no vig odds column, is kind of the weighted average of the entire market. So minus 135. We're getting this minus 122, so you're always getting better odds. You're always getting improvement to the no vig line. So this is a play I really like. Next play, Lamar under 1.5 passing TDs. This hasn't cashed for us, but the value has been there. Last week, I believe it was. Once again, every bookmaker has the under heavily favored. Clear value at minus 122. Another one that OddsJam picked up. So now, if you're just looking for a 3-pick entry, we've gone through Barkley, Thielen, Lamar under. Those are the top 3 picks you could go with, currently available out there in the market. And, clear value here at minus 122. So this is the second pick we're rolling with because I didn't hit the cap on it. So we got Thielen under 4.5 receptions, Lamar under 1.5 passing TDs. We got Russ under 1.5 passing TDs. Already gone through this play previously. Then we switched to the MLB. Salvador Perez under 1.5 player bases. Clear value. Absolutely want to be on that. And then we have Hines in the Titans game. Under 3.5 receptions. Another play we really like. So on Underdog Fantasy, you can see right here, we're playing this 100 to win $2,000. 100, $2,000 payout. DraftKings, 100 to win $1,250, right? Finding value is how you beat the bookmakers long term. It's how you beat the vig, the juice, right? The way sportsbooks make money is they add a 4% vig, 4% spread to their market. So all you have to do is kind of beat that, right? All you have to do is beat that 4% spread. And the way you do that as a sharp bettor is you just look for value in the odds, right? You compare ruthlessly, you hunt for value, and you take advantage of these discrepancies, such as the Saquon one, which is absolutely incredible and definitely should be a max play for you if you haven't gone with it already. So we're all over Saquon. Patrick Mahomes under 2.5 passing TDs was another big play for us. So we got a bunch of good stuff out there. But the last thing we can kind of go through is I backed out the profit margin. The profit margin of this 5-pick entry is going to be 8%, 8.8%, right? So just kind of, the way you can think about that is you go to an odds converter calculator, right here. You put in the no vig line. So if we go back here, what you can see is, let's turn off these filters, is here the no vig line for Thielen is minus 134.84. So if we put that in here, we're betting at minus 122 implied odds in a 3-pick or a 5-pick. The win probability is 57.42%, which is exactly what you see here. Slight differences due to rounding. So just using, no vig odds, kind of some basic math, converting odds to probabilities to back out these sharp picks. Where's the value? Stuff like that. So any questions you have, feel free to comment them, and let's make some money betting on the NFL this weekend.